What would you do if someone kept stealing your lunch at work, and no one did a thing about it? For weeks, my food vanished from the fridge while the jerk behind it walked around like he owned the place, until I served him something. Unforgettable. And, let's just say, he never touched my lunch again. If you've ever had your boundaries crossed, your stuff taken, or just wished someone would finally get what they deserve, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this isn't just revenge, it's art. It started like any other week at my new job. I was still settling in, still learning names, still trying to make a good impression. I took comfort in the small things, my homemade lunches, carefully packed each night, meals that reminded me of home, of control, of comfort. But then, they started disappearing. At first I thought I'd forgotten them, or maybe I'd left them on the counter. But no, I'd find the containers in the work fridge, empty. Sometimes just a smear of sauce or a single rogue grain of rice clinging to the corner. And it kept happening. Twice a week, my lunch would be eaten, silently, without permission, without shame. I tried writing my name on the containers. Didn't matter. I tried hiding them behind other people's meals. Didn't matter. I finally asked around. That's when I found out about him. Let's call him Craig. Craig had a reputation. Smug. Arrogant. The kind of man who wore his misogyny like cologne, loud, invasive, and impossible to ignore. He joked about women being too emotional, laughed when someone suggested we needed a harassment policy, and worse, he had a habit of helping himself to the women's food. It was practically a running joke in the office, and no one did anything about it. Management shrugged. HR had bigger fish to fry. It's just Craig, they'd say, like that explained anything. Like that excused the fact that I couldn't even eat in peace. That's when the switch flipped. I've never thought of myself as petty, but I do consider myself resourceful. So I got to work. For 2 weeks, I brought decoy lunches. Nothing fancy, just convincing enough. Meanwhile, I ate my real food at my desk. Cold sandwiches, granola, dry wraps, all non-refrigerated, all boring. But it gave me a front row seat to the game. Every day, I checked the fridge. And every other day, like clockwork, my decoy was devoured. I kept a mental tally. Craig? Still smug. Still snacking like he ran the place. And that's when the idea struck. I started talking about a new health trend I was following. Something really fringe. Experimental wellness, I called it. I made sure to say it loud enough in the break room. I've been harvesting my own nutrients, I said one day while sipping beet juice. Real primal stuff, you wouldn't understand. Craig perked up. Of course he did. He couldn't stand not being the smartest guy in the room, so I leaned in. Over the next few days, I built the story. Carefully, casually. Told coworkers I'd seen a documentary about reclaiming your body's natural cycles, that I'd started collecting my menstrual blood, that I was incorporating it into my food, protein-rich, hormone-balancing, sustainable. I watched Craig's face twist, but I wasn't done. I told them I'd made a video, just for educational purposes, and when he scoffed, I pulled it up. Of course it wasn't real, it was just soup and some camera trickery, but it looked real enough. In it, I poured something dark red into a container labeled lunch. I stirred, I smiled. That same day I put a fresh decoy lunch in the fridge, and I waited. He didn't show up for work the next day, or the next. When he finally returned a week later, pale and silent, the break room fridge had changed. No one's lunch had gone missing. No one's container had been emptied. He never made eye contact with me again. And just like that, the theft stopped. I never told anyone the truth, that it had all been theater, that it was all just a bluff. But it worked. And maybe, just maybe, he learned something about crossing boundaries. There was no yelling, no confrontation, just a man who thought he was untouchable, finally being touched by consequence. Not violently, not cruelly, just poetically. He wanted my food? He got it. And the image of what he might have eaten will probably haunt him longer than any HR complaint ever could. Revenge doesn't always need fire and fury. Sometimes all it takes is imagination and just a little fake blood. If this story gave you chills or laughs, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What would you have done if someone kept stealing your lunch? And don't forget to subscribe for more juicy, twisted Reddit revenge stories that make justice feel oh so satisfying.